Hello and welcome to another episode of Gins Before Friends. I think we're on episode 19, guys.
Whoop whoop.
Yep.
We're getting up to 20. I'm excited. We've already been brainstorming and things we're going to talk about. In fact, we spent like 30 minutes ranting about it before we realized we had to start the podcast.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a late night. It's a late night.
Yeah. But on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the current Blood Moon event going on and developer update. And as always, I am joined by my amazing Swift. We have Morbid Plum
Hello.
and Mockingbird.
Hello, everyone.
How you guys doing? Happy Saturday.
Yeah,
Woo.
happy Saturday. I mean, we're not going to talk about like the new Stardew and Palia updates. No.
Which we've been playing. I've already done all the Palia stuff.
I've been
know,
playing
we were-
Stardew.
Yeah, I just updated Palia, so I need to get in and start all the new stuff. I'm excited. I got my frog. I'm excited.
Yes,
These are games that, the updates actually went well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Bird. That's harsh.
Wow,
Just a
shots fired.
Just a little preview for this episode.
But yeah, if you need a break from, bloody matches, we also play cozy games, which are fun as well. I guess let's hop into the Blood Moon event. The first thing we're kind of going to talk about is the cosmetics that came out, the Blood Moon collection that was in the store. I'm told that there was 4 things that were released, but I only physically see 3. There was, of course, the Michaela outfit. 10 out of 10. She looks amazing. And of course, I bought it. Fabulous hair, beautiful red corset. I mean, Michaela's just always look wonderful. Ace got an outfit as well, which I'll admit, the outfit's really cool. I'm just not sure about the head. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Oh, for Ace. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, for Ace.
Right.
But
not as good as Michaela's.
It's not. Michaela's was the best out of the 3.
Oh yeah.
And then there was the doctor, and it was actually a pretty badass cosmetic for the doctor. He looks really scary.
Mm-hmm.
Rumors of a 4th. I haven't seen it, so.
Well, it's funny you say that because neither have the Fog Whisperers I've watched. They just they can't seem to find it either.
Yeah.
Just skip right over.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we'll find it one day. Maybe not. I'm sure if there was a 4th, it maybe wasn't super remarkable, and I'd have no idea how she can see. She doesn't have eye holes.
I noticed that in this illustration.
You're wondering who we're talking about. It's Lady Voldemort.
I was gonna say,
aka Skull Merchant.
Her drones her eyeballs.
Yeah, and she's wearing this mask that doesn't have eye holes. I don't know. And she is human. Keep in mind, she's human, and she just wears things to slice and dice and has her drone. So I don't know how she's seeing. So I'm thinking that if I'm playing against this cosmetic in the game, that I should have advantage on everything I do because she can't see me. like I'm playing D&D.
There you
go. Roll with advantage. So those were the cosmetics released for the Blood Moon collection. Of course, the past events, they did have where you could earn trinkets. So this event was blood trinkets. So there was a little shop that you can spend your trinkets in. There was a cosmetic for Elodie, which I'll admit, I thought it was really good. Her hair, the headpiece, 10 out of 10, probably some of the best hair they've done. Along with Michaela's, probably some of the best hair they've done. But Elodie's hair was just perfect. A really cool outfit. And then we also got an Oni cosmetic, which I thought was pretty solid as well.
Agree.
It's very Shogun, which I've been watching a lot of recently. So I'm oh, it's on theme. But it looks really good.
And then there were 2 banners and a badge, and then 2 charms, as well as the weapon for the Oni, which was a sword. Something also that I liked, unlike the last event they did where there were trinkets, you could purchase everything by just going through either Survivor or just going through Killer. You didn't have to play both in order to get enough trinkets to purchase everything. So I'm glad they learned their lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that was frustrating.
Yeah, you shouldn't be punished for playing only one side.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
But I guess we can get into the game overview. So they did have a post that I'll bring it up that said they like to do these kind of posts. Dead by Daylight's Blood Moon event, everything to know.
Do you want to define everything again?
Everything, meaning in all, the total, everything I would need to know to have fun playing this event.
They love doing this to you, I've noticed.
Yes. It wasn't as super descriptive, and then I do think there were issues within the game, which I have the game pulled up right now, so I can read from it for the stuff they talk about in the game. Behavior, you need to know your audience. I'm going to read the first 2 sentences of the end game of what it said. In the game, it has the annual blood feast has begun. Blood is shed in the black fog ad infinitum and has begun seeping back into the trials. With the community deposit droplets into blood basins to augment the global earning potential of blood points. I'm going to say that the day this came out, I was kind of stream hopping for like all the DBD streamers I watch. And every single person I watched, when they got stuck on ad infinitum and didn't know what it meant, and then they weren't sure what augment meant, or they just read the first 2 sentences and they asked like their chat, what did I read? I don't understand it. And then almost all of them, I think minus a few, decided to not read anything else, didn't go into the gameplay details, and then they just tried to figure out what was going on by themselves. Because they're like, well, I should be able to, as I play the game, figure out what's going on. And then no one did. So it was kind of like, yeah. The chat was like, well, just read it, or let's try to figure out what it is. So let me do some word definitions for people that maybe don't know. Ad infinitum is Latin, and it essentially means like forever or for eternity. So what they're saying that is forever and ever, blood is being shed in the fog. And they could have just said that.
Yeah.
Infinity, right?
Yeah, infinity, essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of in the Latin word, infinity.
Yeah. Augment, increase, change, adding to something. I just don't know if they were writing for the right people. Another one, the second paragraph is fashionably sanguine. And some people were like, I thought that was a type of pasta. In multiple chats, people were asking if it was a type of pasta.
I want wine. It reminds me of wine for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, red, blood. They could have just said fashionably bloody, and I think that even sounds better.
Oh, yeah, that one. I like that.
Right? So I think a lot of people, part of why I think the release date of this event was a hot mess is people didn't understand what they were reading, so they decided to not continue reading. Then no one knew what was going on.
Well, I don't know if you're going to get into this. Also, what's in the game is not what was also posted on their website. Like, the instructions are different. I mean, they're the same instructions, but they're worded differently.
Written different, and
different parts of the gameplay mechanics are explained better, like in some areas than others. Does that make sense? Like because like some of it's explained better on the website in their, I guess you call it like their press release for the event, but then some aspects are explained better in game. So it's just like, y'all, why is there not the same text on both? Like, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure who at Behavior has like a thesaurus trying to like, make these instructions very snazzy because like teenagers play this game, okay? Like,
yeah.
You don't need to use land terms, okay?
I was sending the ladies screenshots of what people were saying in chats because I was just cracking up. And one person was like, "Do they realize that we're playing DBD? Like, like we
just say blood.
We come here to play this game. Just say blood. Like
they're bloody. There's blood everywhere. Blood everywhere for infinity.
Yeah. It's okay if it's not blood. Like, fancy words or fancy whatever. We don't care."
I mean, unless you grew up reading like fantasy vampire novels, which we all did.
Yes.
We were part of that Twilight era back in the day. People are probably not going to know what sanguine means. Like, if it's not something you looked up or like we also write, But I just thought it was funny. People thought
I
it was
think
pasta.
I think this would have fit better like in the Rift lore. Like you have like the
Yeah.
observer. Like I feel like this language would fit like a character in the
Yeah.
Rift.
Yeah.
But not for like game instructions. This is
Mhm.
game instructions. You need to be clear and like you said, know your audience and the audience ranges, but you've got like young teenagers playing this game. You can't be
Yeah.
throwing in Latin, okay? They're not taking Latin at school.
We can
Keep
do a
going.
compare and contrast of instructions. So on the everything you need to know, it said read the bloody rules. And I didn't know if they were this behavior. This is kind of passive aggressive.
Is it are we cursing? Are they cursing at us?
I know. Are
Because
you
bloody
yelling
means
at me?
something different in some other parts of the world.
I feel like someone was like, everything's about blood, but I can put it in there, and they have like internal satisfaction knowing that they're yelling at all of us. That's what I saw. Maybe I'm just a
Possibly.
passive aggressive person, and
Well, later we can tell them to fix their bloody game, okay?
yeah.
Like when we get to that part.
Shots fired.
I'm
So
feisty
yeah,
tonight.
we'll have to join you in drinking apparently. Okay, so read the bloody rules. The basic goal of this event is to collect droplets and deposit them to blood basins. When that happens, a blood zone is created, granting all players within its radius an area-wide buff. Survivors can carry a maximum of 1 droplet, while killers can carry 2. Man, I can't talk today. And killers start the trial with 1. So then it goes 3 fragile blood basins spawn across the map at the start of the trial, allowing players to obtain additional droplets. Once you have 1 in your possession, you'll be able to create a blood zone at various locations throughout the map. Note that there will only ever be a total of 4 droplets in play during a match. People were super confused about that.
I was, yeah.
Yeah. The area-wide effects are different for Killer and Survivor. For Killer, your lunge attack duration is longer, but your Blade Wipe animation is extended. For Survivor, your grunts of pain are quieter and your pools of blood dissipate faster. Both sides will receive blood points for time spent in the blood zone, so it's in your best interest to create them. And upon creation, a blood zone will be protected for a duration, during which time the player that created it will benefit from the effects, even if they're outside the blood zone's area. Once that protection fades, players from either side can remove the blood zone and reclaim the droplets. So those were the rules that were in the everything you need to know. Let's go to the gameplay details in the game. So it starts out saying fragile blood basin. 3 fragile blood basins appear at the start of trial. Collect 1 droplet by walking through one of these blood basins. Droplets. The survivor can hold 1 droplet, while the killer can hold 2 droplets. Additionally, the killer starts the trial with 1 droplet. Survivors can steal 1 droplet by stunning the killer. Killers can steal 1 droplet by injuring a survivor with a basic attack. Holding a droplet reveals the ores of valid blood basin locations. Man, this tongue twister. Within 12 meters. Then it's blood basins and blood zones. Create 12-meter radius blood zone by offering a droplet into a valid blood basin location. The basin. I'm just gonna say basin from now on.
The bloody
blood basin. The bloody basin. The basin of a newly activated blood zone protects the removal of its droplet for 20 seconds. During this period, the initiator of the blood zone benefits from effects from anywhere in the trial grounds. So here are the effects. While empowered by a blood zone, injured survivors are 50% quieter and their pools of blood vanish 50% faster. Effects are double when crouched. And of course, the killer has the increased lunge, attack up to 100%, but their recovery cooldown is extended. And all scores, including Blood Moon, are increased by 25%. And then it talks about the multiplier, which we'll get into in just a moment. So as you can see, like they left out a lot of stuff. So people were confused about the droplets because essentially not everyone can have a droplet at the same time because only 4 are in play. So the killer starts with 1, which means that there's 3 out there. So you have 4 survivors. So someone's not going to get a droplet. And everything about it, they didn't say like, the effects are doubled when crouched for the survivor. They didn't give a lot of the details. So I just think it was really confusing. Like if someone just read the everything you need to know, they didn't get the total breakdown that was in the gameplay details. So it was kind of just like a hodgepodge of information in different places. But I know for a fact that the droplets was a major point of confusion. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I honestly think that they should have just had one way of explaining it and just posted the same thing in both places.
Yeah. The instructions should have been the same on both sides. But yeah, it wasn't clear. And a lot of it wasn't clear. And like you said, like people were trying to hop into matches and understand what's going on. And you didn't get anything from doing gens. Because I was like, are we going to get more blood? Like, I kind of find it weird that there's only 4 in play. And you could take droplets away and put them somewhere else or put them back in. You can get them from the killer. So even though there's only 4 in play, if you don't get one, you could take one from the killer.
Like stun, yeah.
By stunning them. But I just found it weird that we didn't get anything from like gens and you know, it's just like only when you're in the circle, you know, you can lunge or have the effects of like the Iron Will. And I don't know. I just kind of, I know what they're trying to do. Like they're trying to do some different mechanics for these events, right? Which part of me wants to be like, yay, that they're just not sticking to what they've done in the past. At the same time, it's like this event was really confusing and I just felt like it was underwhelming. I think a lot of people just kind of skipped doing the blood drops half the time. You know, it wasn't worth taking the time to do them. I mean, you do get more blood points if you do stuff in the circle. And then I also was confused, like, all the circles are red, like, and I think you see all the circles, like if they're up. So it's like, is this the killer circle or is this my circle or another survivor circle? Like I don't know how to tell the circles apart. And then I know another complaint was like it was red, and I get like red is scary, right? Blood moon. Red is scary. This is the hard game definition of what's scary.
Everything in DBD is red, though.
It's red. The scratch marks are red. And, like,
yeah.
I think
auras are red. Like, yeah.
A lot of people had trouble because everything is red. And it's not like we can switch the color of the scratch marks or auras to anything. They're set, right? There's no settings in the game for you to change for those. That was kind of also made it hard. And I thought it wouldn't, but I did have trouble at times being like, oh, well, the scratch marks went off this other way. Not the way I was expecting, because we're in the circle and it's red. And then if you think even like an end game, like then the whole floor is all sorts of colors and stuff. So yeah, color. I get like why they did Blood Moon. It's supposed to be scary. Red is scary. It's in every horror game, right? If you see a red light, it's scary. But yeah, it was just confusing. We're going to talk about some of the other issues coming up. But as far as just the gameplay mechanics, I just found them underwhelming. What about you, Morbid?
Yeah, I agree pretty much with everything you said. When we were playing, I don't think I ever interacted with them unless I had to for the Blood Moon event tome thing.
Yeah, to get the trinkets and stuff.
Yeah, to get like the trinkets and all that, but like I never knew what they were for. Like I would go in there to be like, wait, what's happening? Why am I doing this? And, yeah, it was just very confusing and was kind of like, what's the point of all this?
I mean, Queen got a good play off of it.
I did.
We were both in the circle, and she was injured.
Yeah, and we were crouching and just going around hay barrels, and they lost me. And then they camped me at the end and hit me several times and called me a stealthy survivor. What was I supposed to do?
It was the blood circle, though. The game gave us the stealth option, though. You can't be mad because that's how they lost you. You were crouched in the circle.
And I totally forgot about it until I was like, why are they just going past us? Because we were just going around these hay barrels. And then I was like, oh, it's the circle. And I think that's the thing about the circles is that it doesn't matter who put the droplet in the blood basin. Everyone, the killer and the survivor, were able to use that circle for the buffs. Yeah. So, like, it didn't matter. Now, it would be interesting if there actually were like a killer circle and a survivor circle. We only got that buff in that certain area because again, like the killer gets
that wasn't the case.
Yeah, and I think that confused a lot of people because they're like, well, is this a killer circle or survivor? It didn't matter. Everyone got whatever buffs they were supposed to get, regardless of the side they were playing on. Which is kind of counterintuitive too, like, because so the killer's trying to put it up to buff himself, but at the same time he's buffing the survivor. Yeah, it would be interesting if certain areas was a buff just for one side or the other. But who knows what's going to come out. But in the end, so talk about the blood points, right? So as the line said, they were augmenting the global earning of potential blood points. So they introduced in the Blood Web some new offerings. So there was the Blood Sense map and the Bloodshot Eye. So the map was when you use it in the trial, you can see the auras of any injured survivor, no matter where they are. Only thing is, using the map will leave pools of blood, allowing the killer to pick up your trail. It was like a basic map, except that you could see injured survivors.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really use it a lot. I know Mocking You did use it.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think I
But
used it for 1 or 2 matches. It was fine. It was
It's a
yeah,
map. It's
yeah.
besides the
yeah,
injured survivor thing, which I mean, I don't know if I prefer this map over just regular
I would
map,
just probably run a regular
but
map.
not thrilling. I guess along the same lines of the gameplay
Yeah,
mechanics, like underwhelming. Like this is the item, it's a map. I'd be more interested if it like showed us the killer or something, kind of like keys can do. I don't know, something different,
Yeah.
something a little more dangerous, or if you used it, it worked like object. Maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to think of
hmm
something more creative than we just slapped on. Here, we slapped on the empathy on the map,
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in our matches, we run Bond or something, so it wasn't super helpful for our gameplay. It was more of just like, here's another map I was kind of disappointed. I felt like they could have a different type of offering. Probably would have been more beneficial. And then they had the Bloodshot Eye, which didn't stay in the game very long.
Well, technically, it's still in the blood web, so
Still
there's
in the
that.
Blood Web, but they took it out because it was messing with the blood point offering. So pretty much immediately as people were playing, they noticed that they weren't getting a lot of blood points. And this thing has been advertised for a very long time. You're going to get massive blood points. This is all about the blood points. We're giving you blood points. And then people started playing, and as they're doing the math, because I was in Polly's stream when he was playing, realizing that they weren't getting the blood points. So people were using their offerings, the anniversary cakes they saved up, any other type of blood point offering, and the Bloodshot Eye was just like nulling it out. The good thing is, like, when Polly rated Spooky Loops, he did say, like, hey, don't put your blood point offerings in. But again, Spooky was like, isn't that the whole point of this event?
Yep.
So they kill switched it and they left it in the blood web, and that was another thing. So people were confused about how to play. They didn't understand words being used. Then they weren't getting the blood points that they wanted. And then one of the items they released in the blood web was affecting blood points. So it's kind of like a hot mess.
It was so
Well,
ridiculous.
also the offering, the Bloodshot Eye, doesn't add
Yeah.
blood points. It was just to show the aura of the blood
Yeah.
pools longer, I believe. Like, it wasn't even like the anniversary cakes. It didn't add blood points. Like, I thought it was kind of worthless in that regard. And again, underwhelming. This is like my whole theme of the event. But also, I don't think we talked about, like, to get so again, they advertised it for all the blood points, right? But to get the multiplier for the blood points, there's like a community goal of putting in the drops into the basins. So it started, what did they start at, like 50?
I think so.
And then the max originally was going to be like 200, right? So we didn't even get the multiplier right away. We had to like earn it, and then the event offering was broken, and then they gave us hush money for that.
Yeah. So 2 days after the event started, they came out with an update and they said, upon collecting your feedback, we realized we fell short on delivering enough blood points. To make the Blood Moon live up to its name, we're doubling the Blood Seeker Community Challenge multipliers. Oh my God, that was a tongue twister. Up to the max of 400%. Not only that, but we did get blood point hush money. They gave everyone 1 million blood points who logged in during the event. And there were daily blood point offerings in general throughout the event. So they did up everything. So I feel like as it got closer to the 400%, we did start having matches where we were getting over like 100,000 blood points.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in the beginning, it really was like, oh, you didn't really see the difference. I mean, at least they fixed it. But
Well,
I
kind
think
of.
kind of. Okay, I'll pass it on to Mocking so
Oh.
she can give us the kind of.
No, I just mean like but they still didn't take the event offering out of the blood web, so I'm still spending the blood points on the offering. Like it
Does
didn't
it
completely
actually charge you the blood points, or is it
Mhm.
just because some people were saying, well, like at least it's a free space, like,
Is it?
and I was like, I don't know, I have to double
Oh
check.
gosh, I'm going to have to log in and look. So we can't confirm yet, but typically when
Yeah, I'd
anything
have
is
to
kill
check.
switch though, like its, like when they kill switch flashlights and stuff, you still pay for them because they're not
Yeah.
like deleting the item. So I'll have to go check, but it's just really disappointing that like they hyped this event and it was so broken. The gameplay's
Yeah.
confusing, the offering's broken, and it was, voiding out any blood point offerings. And then like if it wasn't broken, they would have never given us like the 400% multiplier,
Oh
right?
yeah. Which
Mhm.
is supposed to be a blood point event, and I feel like
Yeah.
we didn't get as many as we probably should
Mm-mm.
have or
No,
could have.
yeah, people were talking about like you get more. This is before they changed it. You would get more if everyone played like the Flans and the Tiramisus, like, or even Bloody Party streamers,
Mhm.
because if each player that'd be 500%, right?
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it was up to 200%. So maybe if everyone played, I don't know. People were doing the math, and it just wasn't like as great as they hyped it to be.
We did get some fun things. Like again, we were sending like quotes back and forth to each other, and Mocking posted something from Running Man that said, "So the event offering ate a bunch of your offerings, and we gave you 1 million to compensate, but actually fixing the offering would be kind of a bummer. So we're just gonna leave it off anyways. Here's your twins back. Have a nice Tuesday."
Yeah, they did give us twins back during this event. Yay! For
Just what I
Linksy's
wanted.
happy
But
now.
yeah,
Linksy's
Linksy's
happy.
happy.
Which
Linksy and the
we'll be talking
two
about
other
Linksy.
people that main twins.
Yeah, we'll talk about Linksy more
But
later.
then she did post the whole they're not going to enable the offering again because someone asked and they're just like the offering will not be re-enabled. So we're going to have a bunch of offerings that we can't use.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, how broken is this game? Like, and
Very.
gosh, that you screwed up because they haven't screwed up past events like this.
No,
Correct?
I mean,
like I can't think of other events
I
that have had an
really, I
issue like
really
this.
can't think of anything other than the last event with the whole tokens not being able to get everything.
Yeah, but that
for the
wasn't like a
most
bug
part,
issue though. That was
I mean,
a
other than
design
maybe like,
issue.
yeah, maybe other than like, was it the barbecue event where the blood point offering really didn't benefit survivors? It was more killer.
Oh, yeah, because it was like only for gens or
Only for
something.
gens. It was very lackluster. People were confused. And I understand like a lot of it when I was going through streams, people watching streams did start to get annoyed and be like, you didn't read the rules either. But I think reading everything was still just confusing. But essentially, they lost their audience in 2 sentences for
Yep.
using Latin in the word augment.
And sanguine and
And sanguine, like, yeah.
like you've confused people. Like, and it's a
Yeah.
turn off. It's like it's with any publication. If your opener sucks, you're gonna lose people. And if the first 2 sentences are confusing, then the rest of it's probably confusing as well, which it was.
Yep.
So I think that's part of it. To give you some journal tips, behaviors, sex, and puppies. As people who have written
It draws the people.
or done like articles for newspapers and stuff. You got to capture your audience, know who you're speaking to. I think that was a part of the big failure. And then again, like partway through the event, for the most part, I feel like we were all just playing normal. Like as the event progressed, like one of the last time we played, Maki and I were playing. I had a sick day, so she was nice to hang out with me, and we were playing. People weren't even running for the droplets. Like they were on the screen for a while.
I think we already hit the 400%. So it was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you do get blood points for doing the blood basin, which would be the only reason I would do it. But yeah, like once you hit the 400%, there's no incentive to keep doing it.
Keep doing it. And it's also, again, you putting down the whole blood zone is also giving, if you're a survivor, the killer a buff. If you're killer, the survivor a buff. Why are you going to do that? I just started taking them down, so I was just stealing droplets.
You can get plenty of blood point that way. Take them out, put them
Yeah,
back in.
and I wasn't putting them back up. Because I was like, other than, like, we did get a couple plays where I did notice a couple times hatches were spawning by them, but that probably just map RNG or whatever. But if I was injured, last survivor, I'd go hide in it because you can't hear me. And then we had a couple plays where, again, if you're crouching, they couldn't hear you. It left no pools of blood. But I just felt like we got punished at the end because they're like, "You're stealthy, or you were hiding," or I'm like, "Oh, that's the whole point." Like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, killers don't like stealth plays anymore.
Plus, it's an event. Like, we're supposed to be having fun.
And we're having fun hiding from you.
The fact that I was still stealthy with his 3 aura reading perks, I was, who was it? Was it I think it was a Deathslinger. Was it Deathslinger?
The Haybell one was a Huntress.
The Huntress? Okay, yeah, she was the Huntress. We were up on the Huntress butt the whole time because of all the aura reading perks she had. So not finding us, I was literally behind you. Just in case you want to know.
I know, she kept circling Shaq looking for us. And you were the one that was injured. I was just like, just go around the hay bale when she comes around.
Yeah,
she didn't
that's all I did.
Because there's no blood pools and no sound. Like,
yeah, but even at in game when we had a gen lock and it was just me and Mocking, we were working the same gen, and she kept coming back to it, and we would just sit in the circle when she came back to get our tokens back up. Mm-hmm. So we were stayed really close to her.
We were playing smart and not getting found, trying to pressure the gen. Like
it was hard being stealthy that match. Tell you. But yeah, so that was the event. Hopefully, they can learn from this.
Make it as good as some of our past events.
Clearly it went well.
I think because of the build-up, it's like when you have a book, right? A book that's coming out and people are like building it up like, oh my God, it's the best book ever. It's so great. It's so amazing.
I know
and
what
then
book
you go to read it.
Oh, I know what's coming.
We're going to talk about Fourth Wing now?
And it is awful. It's so disappointing. It hurts even more. Like they kept building this up like it was on like the things to come. I think that was a big part of it. They're like, it's so exciting. Uber blood points. You guys can be amazed. And then
well, here's the other thing I just thought of. They got rid of the Lunar New Year events.
Oh, it's so
and
fun,
we got
though.
This trash. That is what else is frustrating, because I'd like to do the Lunar New Year event. It was not complicated. It was easy to do. You brought an invitation. You would you would get other people's invitations, and they would get, cosmetics or whatever was, the giveaways. And I don't know. It was just fun. It wasn't hard to understand.
It was just a rush for the envelopes, like in the game. Like it
was at the beginning of the match usually, or you could run across them during the match if someone didn't get it. And it's like, it's just easy to do. And like, it just kind of helped everyone out. And I'm like, y'all got rid of that event, gave us Lights Out, and now Blood Moon. I feel like this year's not starting off very good. Like, like the Void events and Christmas were good events. And then we got Lights Out, Modifier, and the Blood Moon event, and you took out Lunar New Year.
Yeah. I know a lot of people like the Lights Out because it was something new, but again, like after a couple days of it, people were just going back to playing regular.
Well,
because
killers liked Lights Out.
Killers liked it.
We talked about Lights Out. It was very killer sided. Like that mode was very killer.
It was also one of those, here's everything you need to know, and it wasn't. I like that they're trying new things, but yeah, it was kind of.
It's like I don't want to discourage them from doing new things, but And I mean, they did, like, the Void event was great, where you put the Void fragments in and it opened up, like, a whole new level in the map, right? We went to the Void and everyone looked different in the Void. Like, that was a great event. Like, A+. Christmas, we got this snow skulls, right? Great addition to that event. But then, like, this year, it's just been lackluster. So hopefully the next, I don't know what the next event is. I'm sure they're going to do another modifier.
We'll see. I mean, we have the anniversary. Yeah, the anniversary's coming up.
Probably the next, like, big event.
We enjoy playing, and it's cool to introduce new mechanics. Just have them not be confusing. Also, some people just have a hard time with math. Like, when we were trying to explain, like, to friends playing, I'm like, okay, like, killer starts with 1. There's 3 on the field. Someone's going to be without 1 unless you steal it. Like,
well, this goes back to, like, the website versus what was in game, because in the press release, the website, it said, like, there are 4 in play, but I don't think it said that in the end game. Like, you could get there if you, like, carefully read that it was, like, 3 for survivor, 1 for killer. But then but then they say, like, you start with that. So, like, when I initially started playing, I was like, are we gonna get more, like, by doing gens or something?
Yeah.
No, you don't get anything. Like, it's just why am I doing this Blight gen? Oh, the other thing I want to talk about, because Morbid and I were talking about this. The sounds in game with the blood squelching.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like, and there were a lot of times I thought they were, like, footsteps, so I thought the killer was coming.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was just like additional noise in a game where you do need to listen for their, like, stealth killers, because you can hear, like, Ghosty, Michaels, Pigs coming.
Wraith.
Yeah, Wraith. Like, you can hear them. You can hear footsteps and things like that. So I was just like, why is there additional sound on top of, like, when you're doing a gen, like, you're doing the gen, and then there's, like, the squelching sound on top of that. I'm like, this is just a little too much for me.
It was very disorienting, especially, like, the first couple of games we were trying to figure out what was going on, like, where the extra noises were coming from. And it's true for Survivor and Killer, you need to be able to hear. The killers are trying to hear for footsteps or cries. Survivors are trying to heal for breathing.
Yeah, it was excessive.
Mikey's heavy breathing behind
I
you.
know. And so I don't know if they did it. I don't think it was intentional, but I just don't know if again, that's another thing where, like, understand how your game works and how people play the game. You're adding the secondary noises, which is going to throw off the environment that we're used to, and it makes it harder. I think in this case, it can make it harder on both sides. So it wasn't like someone got an advantage, but that's also part of how killers were, losing survivors when they were going in the blood circles, because you're going to take advantage of what you can take advantage of it, but it can go both ways. A lot of the stealthy killers were using that blood circle, to their advantage, because we couldn't hear them. I think that was an unintentional mechanic, but again, whoever was like, you know what, we should add in a game where people have to hide noises.
Yeah, excessive squelching noises. I felt like I was watching Stranger Things, and I had the subtitles on, because it would always say, like, squelching or, like, whatever. And I'm like, man, they must have been watching Stranger Things. It was
We're just constantly in the Rift room. Any final thoughts before we close out and go to the developer update?
I think I'm good. I think I've complained enough.
Yeah, we might have to edit out. We'll fix it in post. Excessive complaining.
No, it's all staying in.
No, they need to learn.
Gosh, we're not the only ones complaining. Everyone was dissing this event. Like, I think we're just reiterating what has already been said for the most part. Like, everyone was disappointed in this event. I have not seen anything positive except for them, like, fixing the percentage, but that was after it broke, after the event offering was broken. So I question, like, would they have changed that at all if the event offering wasn't broken? Like, would they have changed that if we just all complained, like, hey, the math is, like, this is not the biggest event?
I think if someone did do the math, I honestly think no matter what, we would have got some type of blood point for it. Maybe they would just up daily login or something like that. I don't know if we would have gotten the million.
No, but I mean like the percentage for the event.
Yeah. I think they would have had to, because people still would have said like, hey, just going in normal, like you said, we get that. Like, you have to have incentive to. I think they should have started higher in general.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so
A
too.
start baseline for people who bring in, like baseline, like envelope. Like if someone was to bring in the green envelope, like start baseline, start there. I will say one thing. I did have a little bit of nostalgia, and I learned that I still very much miss Iron Will from
Same.
hiding.
Oh,
I've
It felt so good for the killer to not hear you.
I was like, we're back, baby.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my, I know. I was tempted to run it today. I was just like, I just want to see.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not
It's not.
100% Iron Will like back in the day.
Yeah, but I have lost people, like killers with it though, still.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Medkit and bite the bullet might just be the way to go. But
I would just go sit in the circle when I was injured and just crouch, so I could not even hear myself. And it was like a moment of peace. I meditated.
the good old days.
All right,
Yes.
reminisce.
We might have to have an episode on nostalgia of like the old,
Oh
old
man!
things
Also,
of DVD.
all the awesome plays you could pull up with Iron Will, like when you would escape and
Ooh,
you're waiting by a door, you'd open, the killer would be like, "You had Iron Will, didn't you?" I'd be like, "Yes, baby, I did. I hid in that bush. You didn't see me or hear me."
I
that's
know you're in
right.
chase and you casually walk behind a rock or something. The killer's
Yeah.
running around Killer Shack looking for you.
Ugh, the good old days.
I know.
That was, you know what, behavior? That was a plus. I'm gonna give that one to you. I don't know how killers feel. Some killers did do some awesome plays with the lungeons, how they stack their perks, but I will admit, I loved having 100% Iron Will back for the brief period of time. So, thank you,
Maybe a game mode, permanent game.
Iron
Oh,
Will.
that would be fun.
Well, like old versions of the perks. Let's play
They
with.
just need to have a straight up hide and seek, no scratch marks,
Hopefully.
Iron Will. Pick yourself up, because I also think it's unrealistic, like when you get like down the second time. I'm sorry, if someone was really wanting to survive, I would find a way to make myself stand back up.
Well, they did do that in one PTB. Remember the unlimited unbreakable?
Yeah, but
And
nothing
the
ever
more that didn't
came
happen.
of it as of right now. I don't know if that's
No.
something they're still working on, but
They may have trashed that one.
yes, thank you for Iron Will again. It felt nice.
It did feel nice.
Positive. See, we gave you
Yeah.
a bunch of feedback and we gave you a positive.
Can
That's
we
how
have
this
it?
works.
Can we have it map wide next time?
Yes.
Like, just have it all the time
Yes,
during the
ultimate
event.
hide and
Doesn't
seek
have to
event.
be in. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Now I remember. So, like, I know killers, like, in our Huntress match, we were playing, like, stealthy survivors and stuff. This game was originally, like, developed to be hide and seek.
Yeah.
Like, looping was not a thing. If
True.
you don't know this, looping was not meant to be a thing. It was supposed to be hide and seek. The survivors were meant to hide from the killer. Like, they'd still have to do gens, but they were to hide. And then it was the players that figured out about looping.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just playing the game correctly as it was meant to be. But yes, I think we can move on to the developer update. We've now talked about this for like 45 minutes. They released a developer update for March, and we're going to delve into that. We have the update for the twins. This has been in the works since, I believe, 2022. So like a couple years, they've been saying they're going to do this rework. And so let's go through the update. The first section of the update is a lot of kind of more quality of life stuff with the mechanics of the twins. So something they changed, they reduced the time it takes to switch back to Charlotte to 1.5 seconds. It was 3 seconds. Another change was they reduced the time it takes to unbind Victor to 0.75 seconds. It was 1 second. They also changed, they reduced the time it takes to charge Victor's pounce to 0.85 seconds. It was 1 second. Okay, new. They added the ability to recall Victor at any point while he is unbound. And they also added the ability to change between Victor and Charlotte near a hook survivor. And so the dev note is, we have made switching between Charlotte and Victor more responsive and given the killer the ability to recall Victor at any time so they feel better to play. But be warned, the anti-face camp meter will still fill if you're too close. So you can't still put like Victor like under the hook or Charlotte by the hook. Even if you're not playing them is how I interpret that. That was the first section of updates, which I think are good. Basically,
I think nothing wrong with it, and I like the fact that even though they put that you can change between Victor and Charlotte near Hook Survivor, that the anti-face cam meter will still go up.
Yeah.
So, but and from watching videos, and we'll talk. We're probably she'll bring Maki will bring up Blinksy a little bit. She agreed these were positive changes.
Yeah, because I think she mentioned like between switching and like she mentioned like 8 seconds at some point. I don't know if that was like after pouncing or missing a pounce and switching back. Like she said it could take
slow.
Yeah, it's very slow. I don't know why it's so slow. And then I do like that they added the ability that you could recall Victor if he's unbound. So like you can just call him back. Like I don't lose them. Yeah. Well, it's just like, well, I don't need him on that side of the map anymore, right? Like maybe the survivors did the gen where you left him and you're like, well, I don't need to put him over there anymore. Instead of switching back to Victor and moving him, you can just recall him and then decide your next move if you're going to put him somewhere else or put him out and start chasing survivors.
There should have been recall the whole time, in my opinion. I know that was one of the first feedback they got.
Yeah.
So I think they're just adding something that should have always been there.
I think so too. So let's move on to the second part of the change. And this is where it might get confusing. We are going to talk about Lynxie because we don't play twins. I'm the only one that plays killer and I don't play twins. We did do some research and watched, other people's feedback on these changes because again, we don't play twins.
But we love twins and their backstory. Which is also, we also did that.
The lore.
Morbid did a wonderful lore of the backstory. So if you want to know about Victor and Charlotte, it's there for you.
Shameless plug.
Plugging.
Well, you're already listening to this, so you can go listen to it again. Or if you're new, you can go back and check out the lore.
It's up there for one of our most listened to episodes.
They do have interesting lore and sad lore. Very sad.
It's very sad.
The next part of the update is they mentioned that they're going to update 7 add-ons, but they don't tell us the add-ons. So we will have to wait for PGB for that information. Okay, another change they made is Victor's Pounce no longer latches onto healthy survivors. So you don't carry Victor anymore so how it is now, Victor, if he pounces on you, you go from healthy to injured and you're carrying Victor and running around with him and you have to basically crush Victor to get him off your back. So that is no longer a thing. So the next change they have is Victor can no longer be kicked after successful pounces, which do not latch onto a survivor. Okay, so keep that in mind. New, Victor's pounce now latches onto survivors when they are put into the dying state. Other survivors can crush Victor during this to help the dying survivor. Victor will automatically return to Charlotte after 20 seconds. So now he latches on to survivors that are in the dying state, which is very different. And the questions I've seen is, can survivors still recover? If you have Unbreakable, like how does that work? If he's latched onto you, like what all does that entail? Next part is that's new. While Victor is attached to a survivor or holding a survivor in a locker, Charlotte gains a 10% haste effect. This effect will be lost prematurely if Charlotte hits a survivor. So Charlotte gets a haste effect if Victor is on a survivor or holding a survivor in a locker. So this is, I think this is to eliminate this idea of slugging. Because right now how the twins are played is you slug with them. And I think this is not really like the killer's fault. This is kind of how, by design, how they're made. because if you can't hook with Victor, right? So you have to use Charlotte to hook. So if you down someone with Victor across the map, but then as Charlotte, if you find someone else, you may not go hook immediately. Yeah. That makes sense. So I think with giving our haste effect, they're trying to encourage you as Charlotte to go hook, but that may not be how the haste is used. Linksy talked about this, like, I could go hook him, but if I see a survivor, like, on a gen over here or something, like, I could just go chase them with my haste. Yeah. And 10% is quite a bit faster, too. So it'll be interesting to see if people use it in this way or not. I feel like this is another one of those, like, behavior thinks this is how players are going to use this, and it's not. And okay, removed. Next part. Removed. Survivors near Victor while he is latched onto a survivor are no longer revealed by killer instinct. So, dev note. Previously, the twins' power heavily encouraged slugging, leaving survivors in the dying state. Since Victor could chain together pounces on multiple injured survivors, but only pounce a single healthy one. Furthermore, survivors could often save each other before Charlotte could make it to them. Well, you flip this around. Victor will now be much more effective at injuring multiple survivors and instead assists Charlotte, who now moves faster while Victor is latched on, in picking up the survivor. This makes it possible for Victor to both injure and down survivor without being forced to switch back to Charlotte in between. Oh, also, I guess let me read. God, they have this broken up with pictures. Okay. Also new. The visual terror radius accessibility setting will now include Victor's grunts. And also new, Victor will now glow red whenever he is vulnerable to being crushed, which I think that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Because it can be confusing.
Oh, yeah.
To crush him,
trying to find him is hard.
So
he's also so tiny.
He is tiny. Blends. So DevNote, we have updated the visual terror radius to include Victor's grunts to improve accessibility and added a red glow to Victor whenever he is vulnerable to being crushed to improve visual feedback. So I think the big part of the questions with this rework is the second section where he latches onto dying survivors. So basically, I guess explaining how twins are played now, right? Victor latches on to a healthy survivor, and then you have to use Charlotte to go after that survivor if you choose to. And so now they're making it so Victor is the one that can down the survivor completely, right? You can hit, pounce, and injure them, and then pounce and put them in the dying state.
Which I think is an issue in itself, because I just, with how fast, I'll have to see how fast Victor recovers from the pounce. Because as a survivor, I don't know if you're going to have any way to get away. If he can pounce, hit you, and then whatever his recovery time is then pounce, go after you again. You don't have a lot of time, I think, to get somewhere safely.
Or you could just use Victor to injure all the survivors.
Injure, yeah.
And then start downing them.
Yeah. Which, I mean, everyone would still be slugged.
Yes. We're going to mention Linksy a lot because she's the one I know of that's the twins' main. And she has issues with this rework and if it really is going to reduce slugging or not. I'm interested to see this latching on in a dying state. But he gets recalled after 20 seconds.
But it also doesn't say the haste ends after 20 seconds. So I agree with Linksy in regards to why would I waste going across a map to pick up the survivor when I have 10% haste until I injure another survivor.
I think it's until Victor comes back because it says while Victor's attached to a survivor or holding a survivor in a locker. So I think it's only, as I read this, how this reads, it's only while Victor is doing these interactions you have the haste effect.
Yeah, but then it says this effect will be lost permanently if Charlotte hits the survivor.
So yeah, so
is it just 20 seconds or is it permanent until you hit somebody?
How I read it, this could be wrong because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I read it as 20 seconds because Victor automatically returns to Charlotte after 20 seconds. And if they're in a locker, the survivor can get, I don't know what they call it. You can open the locker.
You can try to break free.
Yeah, you can break free. And I don't know how long that takes at maximum. So the way I read it, because it's while Victor is attached to a survivor holding survivor in the locker, Charlotte gains a 10% haste effect. So how I read that is if Victor's not doing those two things anymore, you lose the effect.
We would hope that's how it is.
But Linksey's point was like, well, I could just use that haste effect and go after someone else. Like, why would I use that haste effect to go pick up?
And not only that, you can give yourself other perks that would just increase.
Like
20 seconds is 20 seconds is a long time.
Like if you ran like play with your food, like on this build, I'm curious. I'm sure there'll be some testing of putting perks on where you can make Charlotte move faster.
I would not be inclined to use this to go pick up somebody who's already down, especially because Victor's there. But also, if I leave Victor there and someone tries to come get them, I can still pounce, right? If I'm still Victor, I can still pounce.
If you're latched onto them, I don't know if you can do anything else. I think you're just there.
Because it says other survivors can crush.
Yeah, so another survivor can come up to the downed survivor and crush Victor.
It doesn't tell you what happens if you stay as Victor.
How I read this.
It's not the way I've read it.
Okay, how I interpret this, and y'all are free to disagree, because I think PTV will come out this week, and we can see it.
I think somebody mentioned it in the video.
So by the time this gets out, some of this stuff might be answered already, but because how the latching works now is once you latch onto the survivor, you can't be Victor, right? Victor's on the survivor. You can only be Charlotte. So when he latches onto a dying survivor, I don't think you can be Victor anymore. You have to be Charlotte. Does that make sense?
With your 10% haste.
Yes.
Yeah, I would not use my haste to go pick somebody up.
No. The only reason to do that is, well, then he would be crushed. Like if he gets crushed pretty quickly, then you know someone else is over there. So you could be like, well, I'll go over and get both of them. I mean, it's going to be situational. Like if you have everyone injured, then you would know there's 2 injured people over there. But I don't know. But then you would have Victor like automatically recalled to you. So you could just send him back out.
I don't think people are going to, this is another thing that behavior has done many, many a time, is they tell you, even like, Lady Voldemort, they're like, we changed it. She's a chase-based killer now. No, she's not. People are still doing 3-gen strat.
Oh, yeah.
No one, I think we came across one time that was doing it in chase, and we were super excited. Like, Maki was running her, and, oh my god, she's using her drone in the chase. And I was like, I'm going to go try to get chase, too. I get to see this. But they're not going to use it. Like, they say, like, this is how to play it. No one's going to play it that way.
Yeah.
At all.
And like we've learned in past PTBs, people will figure out how they can abuse or...
Oh my god, there's going to be so many speedy Charlottes.
I know, like that or...
It's going to be zooming around the map.
Oh my god, for real.
Batteries not included, no ed, play for your food. These are all like perks for speed. But I don't know. We'll have to, I don't know. I will have to see. I don't know. I think part of me has a hard time getting around that we can't run around with Victor anymore. And
I know, it was fun.
We can't
hold the hatch of Victor.
I mean, we can't hold him hostage. That hasn't been a thing for a while, but that was like when they first released him. But like, it's kind of a shame because like I remember when this killer came out and it was kind of exciting because it was like finally get to be like 2 killers, right? In one. But Twins also came out super broken. Hitboxes were bad for Victor.
I remember all that,
people were taking Victor hostage, right? That was they have fixed that, but when they first came out, it was like just people ran around with Victor and looped Charlotte, and you couldn't do anything about it. I'm glad the Twins are getting like a rework because they're like the least played, right? We did our whole stats and stuff. Like they're least played. They're hard to learn. But if people are good at the Twins, like they're not going to be missing these pounces.
Yeah.
So, and if you can only kick Victor if he misses a pounce, then you're never going to be able to kick him.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of people are equating it to, I think even Linksey said it in her video, is there might not even be a point in healing, kind of like when you go up against a Legion. there might not even be a point in healing, because if Victor's just able to pounce, hit you, and then pounce again, down you, you're gonna have survivors are gonna have to make some choices. Am I gonna play this game, injured the whole time? Because healing's only gonna now be kind of wasting time when you could be doing gen time.
Yeah.
So that some people have equated it to Legion, and I know Scott Jun did a video where he also reached out. He was like, I reached out to the 3 twins mains. Lixie was probably one of them. And a lot of people are concerned, like how it reads. Again, PT might be different, but how it reads, it seems like this is very broken and a little too OP. And as a survivor main, these scare me, because already people, again, like if they know how to play twins, those matches are hard. But this stuff, it does have me a little concerned.
Yeah, and we haven't seen what the updated add-ons are, like what those are going to be, and how those will affect gameplay too. Add-ons can play a big part in the killer power. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. I think I'm having a hard time because I know how they play now, and this seems very different. And I'm like, why would you latch onto a dying survivor? We will have to see. Did you have any thoughts, Morbid?
No, I feel bad because I don't have anything to add, but like some of these things I didn't even know you could do with the twins, like being able to like be kicked and stuff. But I mean, we just haven't gone against them in so long because they've been like kill switch. So it's like, oh, I forgot what the twins do.
And even before that, we didn't get. I think we get them I feel like it's like twice a year we get one, and if we go against one, I'm like, this is probably a good twins player.
Yeah, and when we do, we're just absolutely decimated.
Yeah. And it was always in the middle of the night, which was so weird.
So when they come out, the 3 twins mains.
The twins mains come out in the middle of the night.
Like I didn't know that your aura was revealed to the kill, by Killer Instinct.
Yeah,
Killer
Instinct.
Killer Instinct.
And you were near. I didn't know that was a thing. So
yeah, that's why people would be like, run him the other way.
Yeah.
Don't run him this way.
Or if you have him on the ground too, there would be Killer Instinct. So
yeah. I know people are excited, so I guess we'll see how these go live. There's no guarantee that they'll make it through the PTB. I know that's like sometimes a thing, like, oh, we've decided that this didn't work the way we thought it would, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I feel like all they made was an ultra slug Victor and a really speedy Charlotte.
Yeah,
I don't know if this changes playstyle at all.
I don't think it changes playstyle at all. I think that just means that you use Victor to down people, and then Charlotte will use her haste to get the other people that aren't down.
Well, and the thing is, the twins are not the only slugging killer in the game. Oni slugs, like typically Oni slugs, because they want to stay in their power. Right? They can down someone, and they only lose it if they pick someone up. So they can keep like zooming across and slug everyone, and that's happened. Like, so
everyone's gonna be playing twins.
So I don't know if I mean, I guess it's your view on slugging. If slugging is good or bad, but this is just kind of how they were. I feel like this is how they were designed. Like, I can't fault people for slugging with the twins because they're kind of designed this way.
Yeah.
Well, you have to, because again, Charlotte can be the only one that picks up.
Yeah,
so
she's the only one that picks up.
Wherever Victor downs, Charlotte's got to go and get you.
Yeah, and that could be a huge waste of time.
Yeah, like, when you have another survivor, I would see, like, if I was playing killer, I down somebody with Victor, but if I have another injured survivor around me, especially if I'm going to have a 10% haste, I'm going to go for them.
Or you go by a gen and they're on a gen, and you're going to be like, well, I need to get them off this gen before it pops. So,
and they're going to have a hard time getting away from me now.
Yep.
Unless, they got to lie their sprint burst or something.
Yeah.
Be afraid.
But then again, that's not 10% haste.
Yeah.
No.
He gonna catch up.
Yeah,
look, we're still working on things.
PTB, I imagine, will be out by the time we release this, so we'll see. We'll have an update. We'll see. I guess the question is if they keep all these changes. So and what the add-ons are. I'm curious about add-ons.
Yeah, I'm afraid that the add-ons are gonna make things worse.
Maybe. But I'm not familiar with twins and their add-ons, so we'll just have to see
we'll
what they're doing.
See when it goes live.
Because it's not all the add-ons, it's 7 add-ons, so I imagine these will be like the iridescent, like the higher add-ons.
We'll be watching videos. Linksy, I'm sure
Linksy.
Otts.
Sending you love, Linksy. Go watch Linksy.
Yeah.
If you want to know about the twins.
Player.
Yeah.
She's really awesome.
Let's move on to a minor update with the Blight. So what they're changing with the Blight is their improved collision detection to reduce cases where the Blight slides off objects. Mm-hmm. They are talking about hug teching. Okay, let me read the dev note first. It could be frustrating to slide off an object you were trying to bump into and end your rush prematurely. We have improved the collision detection to make the Blight rush more consistent. This also fixes an issue which allowed the Blight to incorrectly slide along obstacles and lunge across tighter corners than intended. That was on purpose, y'all. People were doing that on purpose. Blight players are doing that on purpose. It's called hug teching. Mm-hmm.
And competitions, people do it in tournaments for those really big the Blight mainers out there.
Yeah.
And it's a skill.
Yes, it is a skill
to learn to play Blight, and they're taking it away.
Well, they do this they did this with Space Billy and like all the fun stuff. Yeah, but yeah, if you're not familiar with hug teching, like for example, you could like slide across the side of Shack and then hit a survivor around the corner easily, so you weren't bumping into the object you were sliding while you were in your rush. So apparently they're gonna get rid of that. So I don't know how people are feeling about this. Probably sad.
I would think so.
I mean, this is probably good for Survivor, and this is probably not how they tend to like to play, but yeah.
Yeah, but when you have those Blights that do those awesome curves around stuff, sometimes I'm like, yeah, you totally earned that hit. Like, again, it's a skill thing. People have to learn how to do it. It is something that is used comp level. So I think it's going to change gameplay. But again, it also goes back to people playing a killer the way behaviors like we didn't intend that to be that way.
Exactly.
People are going to play a killer the way it suits their play style. Like they're going to find ways to do that. And it could also go back to like, hey, talk to people who play that stuff. Like talk to your Fog Whispers, talk to those big Blight mains out there, and they'll tell you why they're playing a certain way, regardless if that's how you intended it. They're going to play it the way it makes sense, like the logical way to play this. So I think there's always like, I can't think of the word, like a gap between what behavior thinks and then how a killer is actually played.
This happens a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like we talk about this stuff every episode. Like,
yeah, we do.
How people play though.
It. Yeah, because I love how their dev note like makes it sound like it's an oopsie.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. Like we're improving the collision. This is for y'all.
Yeah, we did this for you.
We did for you.
We don't want this. You're breaking how we've learned to play this killer, because Blight's a hard killer to play.
Yeah, and people are like, great, thanks.
And you can tell when you have a baby Blight, because one of the things they mess up the most is their rush.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll be playing, but like, oh, he hit that wall 5 times. This is baby Blight. Like,
it's hard.
I can't figure out what to do. But when you have those good Blights that are curving with you, it makes the game a lot more interesting. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how it affects. But I don't know if the community is going to view it as a positive change.
Probably not. But yeah. I guess the other side to it is Blight is like one of the top killers, right?
Yeah.
So they might be doing this to try to bump him down a bit, or make him a little less powerful because he's already powerful. And they have like recently touched his add-ons and stuff to make him less oppressive. We'll see. I don't know. I guess if you're a good Blight player, maybe you'll just get used to not doing the hug tech. But
yeah, but I wouldn't say this is a minor update though.
Oh, they have it minor. I guess because it's only one thing they're changing. Is kind of I think between like major, like medium, minors, how they have stuff like labeled is just like how much they're having to do.
Yeah.
How many bullet points do they have?
Label it what it is though. Let's be honest. It's a nerf.
It is a nerf. Oh yeah.
Let's just
Anything with
throw it out
changing
there.
power
Yeah.
is, or how you play is a nerf.
We'll see what happens with this one too. But
We shall see. We'll see how many people are outraged. I haven't seen so much on this.
Yeah, I think most people are focusing on twins and other updates that they're
Mhm.
like, whatever.
Well, the next thing that is getting updated is Haddonfield again.
Ooh,
Again.
yay.
well, it needs an update though. I'll be honest, it needs an update.
Well, okay, so they're gonna update the changes. Change number 1, they're gonna update the map layout and reduce the overall size, which they've been doing to
Good.
many maps, is
Yeah.
making them smaller. Another change is they're gonna reduce the length of the hedges and fences to create more openings, which I don't think are that bad now. But I
Yeah.
remember old Haddonfield. I remember original
Oh my God.
Haddonfield.
Yes.
If you want to see that, Otz recently did a video about the Halloween chapter release, and if you want to see some long fences,
you could literally be like face to face with the killer on one side of the fence, and it would take like a minute for them to get to you.
So long. The fences
It's
are
so long.
I really
Yeah.
miss those
Part of me
hedges. They were
misses
fun.
that map though.
Yeah.
I do too. They were fun.
I miss Lori's old house.
You just be looping that fence forever.
Okay, Dev note. Dev notes. The map's long and narrow shape and rows of unbroken fences and or hedges made getting around very time consuming. We have reduced the overall size and added more openings to make it easier to traverse. I still don't think they're that long.
Not on the current rendition.
No,
I think they're
I'm curious
okay-ish.
which ones they're changing. I guess we need to see exactly which, because I'm trying to think if there's any that are really
There's none that are
long.
super long.
Yeah.
I
don't
mean,
know
you
which
got
ones they're talking
you
about.
got some hedges that are like on the side of some houses. You do have that longer fence, but it has gaps in it.
Yeah, there's gaps. That's why I don't
like the
know.
yellow house that has the hook in the back, but there's still gaps in it.
I mean,
But they are, yeah.
most of the hedges I'm thinking of are like they have a pallet though in them. So I guess if you throw the
Yeah.
pallet, then it is really long. But that's the whole purpose of like the pallet.
Having it,
like
yeah.
break the pallet, and then you don't have a problem anymore.
Problem solved.
Okay, a couple more changes. They adjusted various houses to reduce the strength of strong loops. I think the houses are more of an issue. There are some very strong windows in the houses. And they're also going to reduce the number of houses on the map. So all remaining houses can be entered.
Which I love. I don't like having those dead houses.
Same.
It's just something to run around. It just,
Yeah, so the dev note for that is many houses were closed off, making the map larger without any room for gameplay. We have reduced the number of houses that spawn, though each one that remains will now be open and playable. We've also reduced the strength of some of the strongest window loops to be fairer and more interesting to play. And then they've also added pallets and lockers along the edge of the map. They've changed. Change they made it. They've updated the street tiles to feature more pallet loops.
Nice.
So this is the middle of the map where it's usually kind of dead. There's sometimes some cars in the pallet. It's overall kind of dead. And another change is they adjusted pallet loops in the park tiles. So another dev note, the outdoor areas were fairly empty before, encouraging survivors to make a run for the nearest house when they were chased. Since we've reduced the strength of houses, we've added some additional loops to the street and edges of the map to spread out chases and reduce dead zones. So
which is good.
Yeah, so I'm glad they're adding stuff to the street because it's kind of dead and open. So if you get caught out there, you're kind of it's in trouble.
Unless you're looping a Buick, you're gonna go down. but it'd be good to if they're reducing the strength of the loops kind of in the houses. I'm hoping with them adding stuff in the middle. I swear, guys, I have not been drinking.
Just
middle or the outside. That means that you can kind of connect your loops. Like you can go from the house to the middle, maybe to the corner, back to a house. Because right now, essentially, you would always run towards a house because that was your best bet. And God forbid you went into the street unless, again, you were looping one of the cars or you got to like the one, car tile that had a pallet. You just were trying to run across the street to another house or to a park. So I'm excited to see what the map looks like. I think this is keeping in line with the stuff that they've been doing for the maps. But I do think these updates were needed, because some of those window loops in the houses were, I will admit, a little too strong.
Yes. As a killer player, they're annoying.
Yeah. Or just even as a survivor. Like, again, I don't think I'm an amazing survivor, but I shouldn't be getting like a 3-gen chase.
Yeah.
All because all I'm doing is going in and out of windows.
Yeah, I feel like the houses are more of an issue than like the. I'm really curious what hedge or fence they had an issue with. Like, I can't even think of
any hedges.
Because they all have. I don't know which hedges and fences. I just keep thinking back to the old map. I'm like, you remember those?
There was that really long fence that was by a park. And it had no opening at all. So like the killer would be on one side and you'd be on the other just doing a gen waving at them like, I'll stay here the whole minute to get around.
Gosh, pardon me.
It was great.
The old map and like
they'd be like, are we gonna stick the gen? Heck yeah, it's gonna take them 45 seconds to get here. Let's stick the gen.
Oh, the good old days. Again, the old good old days. I also remember the back of Lori's house where you vault the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then you vault through the other window.
Good time.
25 window vaults later.
I missed
all the gens are
just
done.
Missing all the nostalgia of like just play those old broken maps again.
Crazy how the game has kind of changed.
Oh yeah.
It is. Otz recently did a video. Y'all should check it.
Go check it out. It's interesting.
Our viewers, about like the release of Haddonfield, because there's stuff I was not playing when Haddonfield, the Halloween chapter release. So like seeing like old DS and like the old map and like how Michael's power wasn't even what it is now. Like it was, you created obsessions apparently. You stalked people to make them the obsession because there were no obsession perks until this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to invent a way for there to be an obsession. It's very interesting. I think Morbid, you're going to take us into
the
next
speaking
changes
of the Halloween when I say update, the Halloween DLC that came out, they introduced Lori, and one of her perks was Decisive Strike, and they have decided to. I don't want to say like fix it, but they probably fixed it. I was trying to find the original one, and I think I did. So when it was originally released, you're using whatever is at hand. You stab at your aggressor in an ultimate attempt to escape. Once per trial, when grabbed by the killer, and you succeed a skill check, you automatically escape the killer's grasp and stun them for 3, 4, and 5 seconds, depending on your tier. And then I think was it last year? They completely like destroyed it.
There's a different iteration too, because that's when it was first released, and then
so that was the original.
You could just stun whenever with the original release, and then it was after you got unhooked and then eventually DS we know.
Yeah, and so now the one that we know is currently. Let's see. I'm trying to. Here we go. So after you were unhooked or you unhook yourself, it becomes active for 40, 50, or 60 seconds, of course, depending on your tier. And when you're grabbed by the killer and you succeed at your skill check, you automatically escape the killer's grasp and you stun the killer for 3 seconds, which results in you becoming the obsession, which I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But now I do. So while it's active, if you perform conspicuous actions, it will deactivate for the rest of the trial, which is, I think, if you succeeded a skill check, so like healing somebody or doing a gen, I believe it'll like negate the perk and it won't work anymore.
Yeah, it's just anti-telling perk, so if they're still chasing you, you have something. Yeah.
But it used to be you could do conspicuous actions with DS.
Yes. So that's what I was trying to find for the original perk, like when it was, pretty much
we should just brought our friend Chadford on. Because she runs.
No, it's her main perk.
She still runs it. But yeah, you used to be able to get unhooked and do whatever for like a full minute. And then
and it didn't matter.
Back, you could hop in the locker and DS them. So,
and you could also use the end game.
End game was probably the biggest.
The biggest.
Yes. Yeah, they removed it in that update that it deactivates.
But there were so many good plays with that.
Yeah, it was
so many good plays.
Slugging at the gate. I think the only time ever I pulled it off, I was slugged right at the gate, got my DS, and I escaped.
it was, man, it was such a good perk. And so of course
They nerfed it.
It got nerfed.
Yeah.
It fell race, but it's back, baby.
Well, part of
So
it's back. Yeah.
part of it's back,
Yeah.
but they've made some updates. They consider this a minor update, so they're increasing the stun duration to 5 seconds, which was originally 3. Which I have been playing DS a lot recently, just because I feel like I've been getting tunneled a lot, and I
Yes.
think 3 seconds is not that
Too
long.
short. Yeah, it's not long at all.
Once like you hit the ground, you just don't have enough time, in my opinion, to really get away before the killer is right back on you.
Well, apparently, like, one of those seconds are used in the animation. So really, you only have, like,
You only have 2 seconds.
So you have to go down by, like, a pallet or a jungle gym or something. You have to be somewhere where you can actually be safe.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that they're adding is that there's going to be a new stabbing animation. So when you use it successfully, apparently you're going to stab the killer. We don't know how.
Nice.
But I'm wondering if it's probably going to be similar to the little icon where she's holding a piece of glass, maybe? Who knows? It'll probably pop out in the PTB when it goes live. So one of their dev notes. Oh, sorry, you can go ahead.
No, that's the first thing we're doing. We're gonna go in a kill your friends match.
You're gonna stab me in the back.
Yeah, we're gonna. And I like how Mocking automatically knew she was the killer. Yes, we're gonna purposely set it up so I can stab you.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how that looks. Because, I mean, right now, nothing happens. The killer is just like,
you just jump off.
Grunts.
And you fall off, So,
yeah.
We'll see. So one of their notes, it says that the survivor is locked in place for part of the stun while they're being dropped by the killer. So it didn't leave them much time to run away once they hit the ground, which is what you guys were saying. They've increased the duration of the stun to give the survivor a fair chance to create distance. And then, of course, they've added the new animation, which only plays if you successfully hit your skill check. So I think that'll kind of add something to it instead of just falling off his shoulder or out of their arms or whatever. So
it separates it from the wiggle animation, like if you wiggle off.
So yeah, I'm excited to see this update, especially since it's a perk that our friend Padfoot and I used to run a lot because we were just like, I'm tired of getting grabbed by the killer all the time. And when they took it away, I noticed that it was gone. Like that they didn't take it away, but when they changed it, it was kind of like, oh man, this sucks. So yeah, we'll see how that if it becomes another meta perk that people use. What do you guys think?
I don't think it's a meta perk. I know some people are upset, but honestly, if you're not tunneling, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
That's the reason. And again, we talk about our friend Padfoot. I have no idea how. She's almost always tunneled out of matches. Like the killer finds her first tunnel.
I know.
She plays the complete do not tunnel me build. And this is one of the perks that she uses, and she does use it effectively and sometimes can get away, or it gives us time to get over there and take protection hits.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what you have to do with this 3
That's what you
3
really
seconds.
Yeah, and that was the main thing. We would just start running take hits, but again, if you're not tunneling as a killer, you're not going to feel the effect of this at all. It's just gonna, they're not going to have it. I don't see what the big deal is. I agree. Like, I don't think anytime killer or survivor is locked into an animation, that should be part of your getaway time, or that should be part of your chase time. So I agree that it just makes logical sense to not count that in there.
Yeah.
To try to get him away. And again, kind of as Mocking said, if you have this, if you are being tunneled, your main concern is I need to go down somewhere where I can still be safe. So it's you trying to run to a tile or a pallet or a friend to where you're not going to go down and get killed.
The one edit Padfoot would like behavior that she told me about was she wished that if you missed the skill check, you didn't lose it, like the perk.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So you could still use it again, like on your next hook. So just a little thought behavior.
Yeah, maybe second chance.
It's a second chance perk. Give us a
second chance.
Exactly.
It's not like the original DS. Again, go watch Otta's video. The skill check was half the bar, like half the circle for the original DS. It was insane. And so they're all joking like, "Oh, I almost missed it." Like it's like half the circle. It's insane. Like what? So
now
how
it's
it
really
used to
tiny.
be. I know now it's like an overcharge skill check. It's like, oh, like just give it to us. But
yeah. Yeah.
But good change. I say good change. Like put it back to
I think
5.
so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and everything else is still the same as far as
Yeah,
the
nothing else
conspicuous
changes.
actions and all that is still in place, and game, all that's still the same. So,
Yeah.
it's just making it longer. Give people time to get to a pallet or something.
All right, so there's 2 more updates for perks, and one of them is Adrenaline, which they consider a medium update. Let's see, they're all changes. Nothing's new to this perk. So they changed that Adrenaline no longer activates if you're hooked when the gates are powered. They have reduced the speed boost duration to 3 seconds, and it was originally 5 seconds. And Adrenaline no longer causes you to wake up when facing the nightmare. Dev notes say that Adrenaline had a lot of exceptions, which made it difficult to play around. If a survivor was hooked when the exit gates were powered, they would be healthy and receive a substantial speed boost upon being unhooked, making it very difficult for the killer to catch them before they could escape. We have made it so Adrenaline no longer pauses when you're on the hook. I did not know it did that.
Oh yeah.
And then we've also removed the wake up effect, which I mentioned when facing the nightmare to clean up the perk. They say that they're trying to move away from perks that affect killer specific powers over the years. So this is one that they're kind of trying to clean up and just make similar perks along the way.
Yeah, which is in line with everything they have been doing when they've been kind of like scrubbing all the other perks.
Yeah.
So, makes sense.
So this one just seems more like it's a kind of cleanup to fix some minor, like, I don't say glitches, but like loopholes.
Well, this is definitely a nerf though to this perk.
It's a nerf, but at the same time, like logically speaking, I'm fine with this because they have changed a lot of perks to not be active at in game. So it goes in line with that. But again, I kind of agree. If whether you have this perk or not, if you're hooked at in game when you come off the hook, you shouldn't be automatically healed and have that speed boost because logically, unless there's another, you're hurt and it's in game, you're the obvious choice. Again, what's the killer going to do? Your obvious choice to go down unless someone else is hurt. Have there been some amazing plays because of this? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, logically it makes sense. I think the speed boost is in line with a lot of the other speed haste and perks and stuff like that. So I don't think this is absolutely awful.
No, and as a killer player, it is annoying like when they get unhooked at end game and they're healthy and it's like great. And the pressure I had, right, is kind of gone as killer. And of course, logically, you wouldn't come off a hook healthy.
And be healthy.
Healthy. Yeah. I know this is just a video game, like it doesn't have to be realistic, but it just logically doesn't make sense that you come off the hook healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
And with a speed boost, running this perk. So, and I'm sure all the Freddy mains are rejoicing. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they're probably all excited. I mean, there's plenty of perks that you lose when the end game happens. Yeah. So it just kind of falls in line.
That's their theme, I feel like right now is like, what can we kill at end game?
Yeah, right. What can
you know what? Ruin? If you're really upset about the fact that you lose it, when you're on the hook, then you just have your friends run borrowed time.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of that perk, is to give you time to, get off. Like if you need extra time. Huh?
And they nerfed that one too, didn't they? Borrowed time.
No,
you have base kit borrowed.
Yeah, base kit borrowed. Right. So it made it kind of.
It made it even longer.
It makes it longer, but like, then what you don't really have to run it anymore.
Yeah,
you could.
It just doesn't really help. I mean, it helps, but it's like I could run other perks, so
it's all situational and
true.
I mean, what you should run if you're worried about in game is Dead Hard.
Yeah,
to get out the gate. Dead Hard is, of course, still popular and it's still very useful. It works in end game for you to take an extra hit out the door if you can time it correctly.
True.
So
it's big. If I've only ever done it once, and then Pyramid had let me escape because I did it, and I think he felt bad for me.
I know. I was like coaching
I've been
you,
trying the whole match to do it. Hey, but I got that adept, David. I earned it.
All right, so Mocking might have to help me with this one because it is a killer perk. But Ultimate Weapon is receiving an update, and again, they're all
this is the annoying perk. Okay, just when you read it, you'll be like, oh, this one.
So these are all changes. Again, nothing new let's see. Now reveals survivor's aura. Okay, this was the way they wrote it. Sounded weird. All right, so ultimate weapon now reveals survivor's aura instead of causing them to scream, which I like that. It's reduced the activation time to 15 seconds, and it was 30 seconds. And it increased the cooldown to 80, 70, 60 seconds, and it was 40, 35, 30 seconds based on the tier, of course. And it says that on their dev notes, they put that they're basically doing these to allow it to center it. Well, okay, let me start over. Sorry. So in the dev notes, ultimate weapon was a jack of all trades, providing both information and a consistent way to interrupt survivors' actions, allowing it to synergize too well with other perks. Rather than screaming, survivors will instead have their aura revealed. This means that it will no longer interrupt survivors' actions and interactions. Those survivors won't know that they're being revealed to the killer. Wink, wink. Since Ultimate Weapon is easy to activate, it was possible to keep its effects active through the entire match. We have increased the cooldown and decreased its activation window to ensure some downtime between uses.
Yeah.
So,
For those that need to
update.
know, it's the locker perk. So
It's the
whenever you
locker.
open a locker, you get the ultimate weapon for 30 seconds, and then as you enter the terror radius, but they weren't doing it as you enter it. The killer was opening a locker and then running across the map to try to find people. So yes, it was one of the many screaming perks. It's as a, again, I'm not a killer main, but I still think it is, as it was, a very overpowered perk, in my opinion. So I'm glad that they're getting rid of the whole screaming thing, because I'm tired of screaming.
Oh, I know.
We scream with everything nowadays. And you know what? Just run distortion.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's why I did the little wink wink, because your aura will be revealed, but if you're running distortion, you won't.
Yeah, that's what when this came out and I posted this to y'all and I was like, we'll know. We'll know. We're going to lose all our stacks. That is what's going to happen. But this perk was kind of an issue, I think, especially on Pig.
Yeah.
Like trying to do the jigsaw boxes, it would interrupt you. And so, just the interruption of interactions with some of the killers can be problematic. It makes some killers more powerful than they should be. Like I mentioned, Pig is the one I instantly thought of. Like if you're trying to get your bear trap off and you get interrupted, well, then you have to start over on the box. It doesn't keep your progress, I believe. So that can be an issue. And then the killer knows where you are, right? Of course, like because you screamed, and because I find this part kind of annoying.
Agree.
It is. The constant screaming. I'm just like,
I have ran this on killers because there are survivors that like to hide. It is useful. It is useful if like your survivors are hiding and you can't find anyone. But I have had so many. I don't know if it was over this perk, but it's on builds I've ran this perk and survivors DC or they give up. Like they hate this perk. They hate the screaming. I don't know what it is, because I have like a screaming build on Legion and I think it's funny, but I think everyone hates it.
You're just pure evil. I hate friends.
I've got, Face the Darkness and
I hate screaming. That's why I feel like there's going to be an uptake in like Calm Spirit and stuff.
Well, I think that's probably why they did this, is to make Calm Spirit go down, because everyone's running Calm Spirit since
Calm Spirit Distortion.
Now they're going to run Distortion.
We already are. I'm sorry. Like I don't think
go up.
I don't think anything's. Killers have been some complaining about distortion. Like, are you going to nerf it? There's no way they can do anything to it since they keep having aura reading perks. Like so many perks that have come out in the last 6 months or so. Almost every killer's had one that has aura reading, and they're just stacking them. There's no way they could do anything to distortion. Like you created this yourself. I'm sorry. I'm going to be a stealthy, salty survivor.
X.
Because like it's 3 aura rating perks and a Jin slowdown. So
you know what, behavior, we actually need more distortion tokens since you're adding more aura reading.
Just give me like 3 more.
Or
yes, I'm tired of being on the killers.
To reduce the seconds for us to gain a token.
Yeah. And then you have to play like, and I will say like, I know we're not talking about distortion, but when it comes to perks like this or aura reading, for those who have distortion, if you're never finding them, it's because they're right behind you. Because that's the only way to get the tokens back. Like, so we're playing
Yeah, we're
essentially
hiding
aggressively
next to you.
because we're behind you because we're getting our refill of tokens.
Yeah.
You're just not looking around and seeing us. We've had really awesome plays where it's just like we're crouching in a corner or we're on. Sometimes I just stay at the gym when they come. I don't even run away from the gym anymore because you just chase me. But if I go around the side, sometimes you'll just kick it and go away. And I was just on the opposite side. Like,
Yeah.
you're just not seeing. I'm there. I'm there. You can hit me. You're just not seeing me.
Yeah, it depends
I
on
want
how
you to
hard the
find
killer
me.
looks.
It looks.
Yeah, it's very dependent. And then sometimes I have been able to stealthily walk around a rock and them not find me. Be like,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, I'm not
That's
even running
yeah.
fixated. It's like, oh, we pulled this off. And I mean, it is different as killer. You're in first person's perspective.
Yeah.
Like, and I have often wondered, like, how many things have I missed, like, as killer? Like, because of playing as survivor a lot, I do tend to look down a lot as killer now to be like, okay, someone crouched over here or behind the gen or, in this building. So playing both sides
just hide in the killer and they just go.
I do try to do that. I miss the old iron will. That used to be a thing you could do with the old iron will.
Just
when
hide
you get
in the
when you
killer.
get hit, there's no collision, so you can be in the killer, and you can still do that now. But like, I know there's some content creators that would like hide in the killer and then run the other way, like with iron will. Miss those days. Maybe I should try to do that with 75%.
Yeah, something I've learned as survivor, like the killer's expecting you to run away when they're coming near. I've just stopped running away and I just walk.
I have noticed that too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's been my plan all along. I just walk away.
All right, I'm just gonna have to start hugging the killer. Just be right behind them.
I just can't go in lockers because no matter what, even if the killer was on the opposite side of the map, somehow they always know where I am.
We had that very strange match the other day where
With
they found
the
you
Oni.
and someone else. I don't know if they're. Part of me is like hacking. I don't know. It was very
so
strange.
Weird. It was so strange. They just beeline to the locker I was in from halfway across the map.
And then they did it to another survivor too. It wasn't just you. So it was like, what's going on? Because I had Bond and I was like, okay, I can see she got in the locker. But then like she got pulled and I was like, how did he know? Because he wasn't over there. He hooked you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then went right for it.
I have lots of questions. Lots of questions.
So do I.
But anyway, yeah, distortion's best, and ultimate weapons getting a bit of a change. You like screaming? It's a nerf. So
sorry.
It's just unfortunately it's just another aura rating perk.
This is true.
But I get that it's like stealthy for them, so you don't know because we'll be like playing and hear the locker open and be like, okay, they have ultimate weapon. Now we know. Well, you can be a little strategic now with this.
Oh, here's a question I saw about this perk. Will it still induce blindness? It doesn't say in these notes. So
it doesn't.
So because their whole note is like you won't know they have it, but if you become blind, then you're gonna know.
Yeah.
So will they take the blindness away? It doesn't say in here, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna admit though, I'm one of those survivors half the time I don't realize. So this is gonna be something really good, like after you hook somebody, if then you then open a locker and then create that blindness and we're like, where's the hook person? Typically I don't know until I'm trying to find somebody. And then they're like, why did I go to stage 2? I couldn't find you. I was blind.
Pay attention to the bubble.
You're not, I don't pay attention until I can't find somebody on hook. And then Maki's like, I'm going to stage 2. And I'm like, I don't know where you are. She's like around the corner.
I know. I hate that so much.
She's like, you're running right towards me. And I just go past her.
Turn 45 degrees.
Yeah. So we'll know they have that when I accidentally leave you on hook and you go second stage because I can't find you. That's how we'll know. Or losing a distortion. But if you lose a token, then you have to kind of go through like, is it barbecue? Is it this? Is it this? Did they kick a gen? Did they open a locker? Like it's hard to sometimes whittle it down because there's so many aura reading perks now.
Well, that's why I was mentioning the blindness, because it's like you lose a token and you're blind, it's gonna be like, okay, it's ultimate weapon, because that's the only perk that has the two. Now, if they take away the blindness, then yes, it'll be harder to identify the perk, definitely, because there are so many aura ring perks, because you have darkness reveal also.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, okay, which locker perk is it now? With the aura reading, because darkness reveal
Nowhere
is
to
the
hide.
same. Nowhere to hide. Yeah, we'd have to piece it together with like what actions is the killer doing. Like
where that GIF with all the numbers.
Oh yeah, where the ladies like trying
We
to
should
figure it
record
out.
some of our conversations at the start of maps when we're on gens. I lost a token. What did anyone do? Did you go through it? Did you go through a window? Did you
were you
did
in
you
chase?
go over anything? Were you in chase? Did you go by a totem?
Yeah, I think it was the meme of the lady. She just like looks really confused.
Yeah, with all the
Like
numbers.
things are
That's what we are. If it's immediate, we're like, heck yeah, lethal. We got that one.
Yeah, lethal's the
If it's
easiest
anything
one.
else, it's always me. I feel like I'm always running. Then I'm like, I lost a token. And Mocking's like, I didn't hit more. But it's like, I didn't. And I'm like, okay, let's go through the thing. Did any of you hear locker noise? Was it Jin kick? Did I go by a totem? Did
you vault a window? Did
I vault a window? Were you doing a Jin? Gearhead.
We gotta
Oh
go
god,
through everything.
Gearhead's the worst. You lose the token so fast.
I know.
And then we're following the killer around the rest of the match.
Yeah, trying to figure out what's happening.
We're right behind you.
We gotta get our stacks back before we get back on the gen with Gearhead.
Or just a little line.
And have a conga line behind the
Oh my god, I know. Just like following him around. They're like, where are the survivors?
And that's when you find us when we tend to drop our item.
We'll bring you presents. Here you go.
That's true.
We're following you because it was a gift.
You saw me? Do you want this?
Nothing to do with me getting my stacks back.
No, not at all. All right, so the next one is a minor update, but is a big update for everybody, because this one I think is the thing I saw most about, like tweets and whatnot. But they're removing the ability to lose a pip. So they said that it felt needlessly punishing to lose a pip after a rough match. And this quality of life change will make the emblem system less stressful. And it also applies to modifiers. You can enjoy these limited time modes without worrying about your grade.
That's
Thank
nice.
you.
I like that.
Thank you.
That's a great one.
I think this is one that I'm sure a lot of people have asked for. Maybe, but it was just maybe something people have always wanted and they never thought they would remove it. So I think it's kind of cool. I'm glad, because yeah, it sucks being tunneled out of a match and then you down pip and it's like, but I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, also a solo queue. Solo queue can be rough, and like I played 2 matches today. Very different matches. First match, this trapper tunneled everyone out. Like hard tunnel.
Yeah.
And they said GG at the end. I wanted to say something. I did not, but like
you were like, no GG.
Like
Gonna
really
be a good Christian woman today and not say what I'm thinking.
But then like next match, like all 4 of us got out against a Cenobite. Very good
she
survivors.
Said,
GG easy.
I did not. I felt bad. I think they were kind of newish. Like
they
didn't get a lot of hooks. But the team did good. They looped efficiently. They did gens. So so solo can go either way. And but I also like this. I feel like this gives me the ability to run other perks and not worry about depipping, because I want to have fun in this game. And so there are times where I want to run perks I don't normally run.
With red herring.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Herring. But more like if I want to run like quick and quiet head on and like see how many times I could stun the killer in a match. You know, do fun perks or just even try different combinations of perks. Like I feel like right now I have to run a certain build to like get out of the match, and even then we don't always get out. Like lately, like I run Bond, like when we play like duos or when I play solo queue, because I'm like, I need to know where my teammates are and know what's going on. Of course, I play sprint burst. We talked about distortion, and then the 4th slot is usually a toss up between like we'll make it or if I want to blast mine the killer. But like this will enable it's like to have a little more freedom of like, if I try a stupid build and it doesn't work out, then it's okay. I'm not going to lose a pip.
Yeah. And that's good, because I don't rotate my perks a lot because I'm like, oh well, I don't want to like lose my MMR rating or
Yeah.
whatever, and have to end up back where I started. So that's a good. I think that's a good thing.
I think it's less punishing in general, and hopefully it will make things a little less competitive, knowing that there's not a
for sure.
negative, and you can have those rounds where I've had plenty of rounds where like, what are you running? I'm like, I'm bringing in red herring.
Yeah.
I'm bringing in pebble. Let's see how many times we can blast mine the killer. Oh, which for us, I think we got up to like 9 or 10 one round. 5 of them were mine. I remember that. That killer
Nice.
hated us.
Yeah, I
But
think this was before the gen update, the gen 6
yeah,
update, but
I think we let him kill one of us at the end. We're like, yeah, sorry, you can kill us. But it is nice to do without having to worry. Because I'm always like, I would love to do new stuff, but I feel like I can't play like without distortion because it's just everything's aura reading. Like one person needs to have it if we're playing as duos, if we're doing trio or just a full Swift. But sometimes it's fun to go in there and just have like meme rounds and just be funny and have it like a lot of times when we do it, then the killer's like, okay, I see what you're doing. Let's play and have a fun time. And whether they kill us in the end or not, like it's still just a fun match. Like they're chill, we're having a good time. I mean, it's not that serious, guys.
yeah. Also,
I think this might.
okay.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I think it might encourage people to try Adept more.
Yeah.
Because I'm still going through the list, but I don't do it a lot because I'm like,
It's
I mean, it
hard.
doesn't really matter. We're all gonna stay. I guess not like on the same when we play together, but yeah, it's hard to do Adept when you might end up getting screwed.
And we adjust. Like if one of us is doing Adept, then we make sure that someone has like heal build, or someone's gonna tank, or we're like, you know what, no matter what, we're gonna get you out and we'll die for you, and we'll try to like negotiate with the killer.
I will die for you.
Someone will try to make friends. Most of the time, Mocking tries to make friends, and then the killer wants to give her hatch.
Sorry, that happened the other day. I was serving drinks on Armand. Okay, we were at. I was like serving some alcohol. There's the bar area in Ormond, and
you can't talk. Like we were trying to be like, no, don't hook. Like,
but I also wanted to bring up on the killer side. This also enables you to try other killers and not be punished for it as well. That you don't have to worry about losing a Pip. Of course, like I'm sure MMR is affected behind the scenes, but you don't have to worry about depipping. So if you do bad, you're playing a new killer, especially like when new chapters come out, of course, everyone's learning the new killer. And so you're not being punished for not knowing how to play the killer. Maybe even encourage people to try some of the harder killers. Like, I know we don't need more nurse players, but nurse, hillbilly just got reworked. Like some of these killers that have a higher skill set that you have to learn. So maybe you'll encourage people to go out of their comfort zone and play other killers and not have to worry about depipping.
Do those dailies without having to worry about depipping. By the way, behavior.
Oh. I know where this is going.
I've had killer dailies for over a month now. Someone needs to go fix it. Thank you.
Agreed.
But hey, now if I want to try a pig or I don't know what are my dailies right now. Let's see. If I want to try Plague or a Xenomorph or a Legion, once this comes out, then I don't have to worry about the pips. So
yeah,
so
I haven't had any in a while either.
So I guess I shouldn't tell you I got a Survivor daily.
Oh no!
And I did it today.
Behavior. We would love it if you would just like do Survivor,
separate Survivor
and killer ones.
We have talked about this. 2 lines. You just need 2 lines of dailies, okay?
I think you can do it. I believe in you.
I think you could do it too. I think you can have enough coding to add additional line of dailies. 1 Survivor track, 1 killer track. And it would encourage people to play more. I would play more if I had a longer list of dailies to do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And especially now, you don't have to worry about if you're playing like, hey, I'm normally a Survivor, but or I'm a killer, but I don't play this killer. I don't have to worry about it affecting.
Yeah, I still don't know if I'm gonna blink and hit his nurse 4 times, but
We're just gonna have to rig that one. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Gosh. Just need to play against bots and figure out
Yeah.
theirs. Anyways, you can
Yeah.
play and not worry about depipping. This is the point. You can chill
Yes.
out. Everyone chill out.
Everyone just needs to chill.
Everybody just calm down.
It's so stressful.
Stop
Especially with the
tunneling and
blood
chill
point
out.
one. I felt like the killers were so aggressive.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like,
for
oh
sure.
my god, just chill. Like, it's not that serious.
It's life or death, apparently.
It is.
For
It is
real.
life
That
and
or
death.
someone's having a bad day. And they
I
just
get
like,
it. You know, when I have a bad day, back in the day, I might remove the ladder from the pool in my Sims game.
Yeah.
But I wasn't hurting other players.
Oh man, those
I
were the
didn't know
good
you
days.
could do that.
Oh yeah, I used to put
Oh,
I used to
put
put
them in
them
a room.
and buy a bunch of fireworks and then lock the door or delete the door.
In our defense, we were trying to have ghost babies. And to have
Yeah.
ghost babies, you have to have
It
ghost
was
Sims.
it was
That's all.
honestly
We'll have a Sims podcast later.
yeah, it was honestly the easiest way to get ghosts in your game.
Oh
Or if you
my.
had Sims Medieval, you threw them in the pit.
Oh
You're
yeah.
gonna get eaten by the
I
monster.
loved Sims Medieval was good. That was a good one.
I get it. If you have a bad day, you got to get that aggression out. I go. But you don't
Exactly.
have to be a dick about it.
Facts.
Okay. I've learned so many things about The Sims. I've not played The Sims. So.
Oh yeah.
You got
was
tough
life.
stuff about The Sims.
Yeah.
Still is life.
Do we want to mention the store?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So another major update, which I am excited about, is the store. They are visually overhauling the entire menu.
Mhm.
They've added a bunch of things. So they wrote a note saying that the store hasn't changed much since its introduction in 2018. And this update makes it easier to find what you're looking for and allows us to bundle content together at a reduced price. For example, it's now possible to purchase an entire DLC pack through the in-game store rather than purchasing each character separately. They've added specials tab to highlight items that are on sale. They've added collections tabs to find cosmetics from a special collection. Added bundles containing multiple items at a discounted price. You can now view killer Mori animations in the store, and they're adding a weekly gift that can be claimed for free. So I think my favorite out of this one is the collections tab
Heck
because
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
when they introduce like a new collection, like the Blood Moon one, they just have like the 3 or 4 people listed. And if there's more cosmetics, you have to go through each person to find them. So I really like that. And it looks like they're going to put like Resident Evil together, Stranger Things together, spring outfits. So I think this is a really cool change.
I agree.
And it's going to be, I'm excited maybe for the weekly gift. I don't know what that's going to be, but
I'm wondering if it has to do with purchasing something, though.
The org cells, maybe.
Yeah,
That's already
org
a thing.
cells.
When you purchase org cells, you get a free gift right now.
yeah, I was going
Yeah.
to say, I think it's a night
Yeah, it's something for
cosmetic
night.
or something like that.
Might
But
be
yeah,
just
you get
the
it.
head.
I think it's just the head if you buy orc cells right now. So hopefully that's not the case because I mean, I would.
I just,
hope
I don't.
Maybe
I
they'll
don't
they
think
add
were
they're
it.
gonna get
being
it.
nice.
Maybe they'll add it if you
Yeah.
purchase anything, or if you purchase
Yeah.
like a bundle or something.
Yeah,
I am excited about the collections because some
Yes.
collections they update every year, right? When we have different
Mhm.
events,
Yeah.
like at
Like
Christmas.
the blight.
Yeah, the blighted cosmetics at Halloween, the Christmas
Mhm.
cosmetics. So then you can just see like, okay, here's all the Christmas cosmetics. Here's all the Hallowed Blight
Christmas
cosmetics.
sweaters.
Yeah, all the Christmas
Mhm.
sweaters together. Like it'd be so much easier than going through each character and then having
yes.
to,
Which
you know, go to the
I did
characters,
have
click
to
on the
do.
shirts, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a
for the
headache.
last Christmas when they had stuff discounted, like I had to go person. I was so frustrated. Like I was going through, I was like, there has to be one where I could just see them all,
Mm-hmm.
and there wasn't. I had to go through every single one to see which ones I did or did not have if I wanted to buy them. So I am all for this. I'm a little concerned about what talks about free gifts because most of the time things aren't free.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
I am looking at the screenshot that they have from the updated one, and they do show the free gift in the corner. And it just says claimed, and then it has a 4-day, 23-hour countdown. So again, we're not sure what that's going to be, but hopefully, what Queen said, it's going to actually be free.
Yeah, I doubt it though because it's a store. I'm thinking probably you purchase something, you get
Yeah.
something on the side. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's a positive change for the most part.
yeah, it looks really good too. It looks very clean and less jumbled, I think, than the other or the current store. So
Mm-hmm. It
it's cool.
looks
I'm glad that's something that they thought of to like kind of do as a minor thing. I know it's not a big update for some people. They're like, who cares?
yeah, it looks like you can search too, so you can find
Oh
what you're
yeah, that'll
looking
be nice.
for,
We
Yeah.
and
love the search bar.
yeah, and they still have the killer survivor separated out. Like they have all the tabs at the top, and
Hmm.
so I think this will be good just to be able to view everything. Because I know when I'm trying to decide, like when they have a new collection or something, I got to decide, well, do I really want this cosmetic or this
Yeah.
other cosmetic? And so just be able to see, and then like to remember what they came out in the past too, because now they are for different seasons pulling cosmetics, right? And then
They're
so
like
like
limited
yeah,
now.
they're limited time. So like at Christmas, you can only buy the Christmas cosmetics during that time. And then they pull them from the store, which was not always the case. And that's a whole different discussion. But so now I can be like, oh yeah, I remember that like because like this last year I finally bought like the Ace Christmas cosmetic where he's in the suit.
Oh yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah. So it's like so then I could go and see like, oh yeah, I remember there were these older cosmetics that I really liked that I haven't gotten yet. So put them all together.
Good update on that one. So
A
yeah.
plus behavior. A plus.
Until we figure
Yeah.
out what the free item means.
Yeah. And
A,
then
just an A. Sorry, just an A.
yeah,
Might
just
be a
use the
B
yeah.
if
B
FOMO ends up
minus.
being involved with that. So
I
Yeah.
mean, if it
we'll,
is
Just,
we'll
free,
see.
great. I can't. From the picture, it looks like it should just be free, but
I don't. I
which
don't.
I
It's
can't
in the
tell.
store.
Yeah, in the screenshot, I can't even tell what it is.
I think
Like,
it's a player card.
how is it?
It's a
Okay.
card or a banner. It looks like a card. It's squared.
Because I'm curious, like, what they're gonna give away. Are we gonna get cosmetics? Is it just gonna be player
I
cards? Like,
to me, it would make sense to be like charms,
Oh,
badges.
charms. Yeah,
I
badges.
mean, if it's anything like the Twitch stuff, or well, the Amazon stuff, it's gonna be really cool, and
Well,
then it'll just get
they've
mediocre.
quit Amazon. I don't know if y'all know this. They're not
Oh
pushing
no,
Yeah,
they
more Amazon
didn't.
stuff.
there's none. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I just figured they got bored and
Well,
Well, they did because
they did.
for the last however many ones, it was just blood points. Like it started off like kind of strong with like whole cosmetics,
It
and
was
then it
very
just seemed to be
strong.
like, yeah. Then it
hmm
started to get like recolors, and then it was just like, here's blood points. Here's blood
Oh,
points.
the best thing they ever did was give away a premium Rift Pass. I
Yeah.
think that
That was
was
amazing.
great.
Yes.
I loved that. I was like, oh, I don't have to buy it. And I'm already an Amazon person, so it was cool. I liked that. And
I
then
think
they just kind of sucked at it,
yeah, I think they're moving towards the Twitch drops. I don't know. I guess
which
they
is
were not
fine.
making, of course they're not making probably any money off the Prime stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they started super strong and then that's why it was so noticeable
hmm
when
True.
like they put in like there was a plague cosmetic they put in that was like from the Rift. And if you were like, well, we already have this, like because
Mm-hmm.
hmm
before they were giving out new stuff. So like when it starts
Yeah, the artist had a.
declining, like
Well,
it's
the
very
artist had
noticeable.
recolors.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was recolored.
it was a
Just kidding.
It
Okay.
was
recolor.
recolors.
I mean, I'm fine
Um,
with the recolor. You give it to me for free.
yeah, I'll
So,
take
Yeah.
them.
like, I'm not going to complain about a recolor of his skin. I know some people were upset. But then, like Queen said, it was like, here's blood points, here's blood points. And it was just like,
Mm,
The first time it was
y'all
cool.
are
Like,
done.
oh yeah, 400,000 blood points. Like, yeah, I'll take them. And then it
mhm.
was like next time blood points. And then I was like,
And
oh,
then
I'm seeing a theme
nothing.
here.
I
And nothing.
was like, you can give those anytime. Like,
Yep.
this is weird. For the archives, it's just a minor update. Tomes and their rifts will now open the same time as updates for mid chapters. And there's going to be a new Rift bundle option, which grants the premium Rift rewards and a 20 tier head start at a discounted price. I guess that's cool. You can purchase the premium Rift Pass separately if you don't want to get the like bundle together kind of thing. But I'm assuming you're basically just buying the extra Auric cells to skip 20 tiers.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't say how much it costs because you do have to
Yeah,
pay for the Rift Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I'm
and
curious how much
usually,
more it is.
yeah, usually you just use Auric cells to skip tiers. So I guess we'll
Mm-hmm.
see what happens with that. I mean, it's good that you don't have to wait now to do your Rift.
Yeah, basically what they've changed is when they come up with the mid-chapter update, the Rift would open the day later, right? So if it came on
Yeah.
Tuesday, it would open on a Wednesday. So now they're just opening it the same day as the patch. So you're getting the Rift a day early, which I
Yeah,
guess is
which is
good.
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that way you can get started and you don't have to wait. And I say waste time is not the right word, but
Well,
it
I
makes
think, yeah, I think the thought process is like you get an update, right? Mid chapter comes out
mhm.
and everything's like opening up, and
Yeah.
so you should be able to get into the Rift right away.
Yeah, you can start on the challenges right away.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see the whole bundle option if it's because in my thing, if you're gonna bundle something, it should be cheaper
Mm-hmm.
than if I was to buy the Rift and also just buy 20 additional tiers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the bundle, it should be cheaper. If it's the same price, then it's not a bundle to me. Because
Mhm.
for the most part, I get through the majority of the Rift, but a lot of times to finish it off, I will do up to 20 tiers is my max
Yeah, I've done
for
the same.
to close it out. Like if that's all I have left, if I don't want to grind, because a lot of times we'll just go in and we'll just grind. But yeah, so I'm just saying that whatever that Rift bundle option is should be cheaper than if I was just to buy the Rift Pass and to put in 20 tiers myself.
Yeah, I think that's obvious. It should, because it says a discounted price, so it should be.
Yeah,
I'm just curious
but
how
how much? Yeah.
discounted is it, like 10%, or are we talking like 25%? I probably wouldn't do the bundle because I play this game way too much, and I do play killer. I think that's what helps me in doing the Rift
Yeah.
Pass, where y'all just play survivor. I play killer as well, so I can typically get through the
Yeah.
Rift pretty easily. And now that
I
they've
think
made the Rift easier to get through too, that they talked
oh yeah,
about in
yeah, for
previous update,
sure.
where like the main line of the Rift to get to the end is going to be, I don't want to say easier, I guess challenges you can do that don't require like certain characters and perks, right? So they're all general kind of challenges like unhooking, doing gens. That'll make it easier too. So
Yeah.
We'll let you know what we think when it comes out.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean I feel like this had a lot of updates. I thought when the developer update came out, I was like, oh, we're gonna get twins, yay! And then we might get like 2 or 3 different things. But I feel like there's a lot in this one.
Yeah.
go
Kind of
ahead, Queen.
like quality of life updates for some of it.
Yeah.
Some of it I feel like is stuff that needs to be done anyways. I would say in regards to the perks, like final thought on some of those perks, like they really keep going and messing with stuff. Behavior, like I would just encourage you, like if you have a meta, one of the best ways to get rid of the meta is those perks that people aren't using, bring them up to that meta level perk level. Like
Yeah.
stop just like nerfing stuff and then buffing stuff no one's using. Like bring everything up to the same level is the best way to get rid of that meta. So we'll see what happens. Some of these changes, like I agree, I think they make logical sense. I'm just again worried how it will affect gameplay because even when they do just life changes like this, something always happens. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting times in the
Yep.
DVD community.
And lots of twins.
And not, yeah, you know what?
Oh god, yeah.
Good for Charlotte and Victor, but they cannot go live, in my opinion, with what's on there now. And I think I fall into the same range as people that actually play twins. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays during DVD and how everyone's going to use that haste.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what they're gonna keep PTB, like if it all will go live or if they're just gonna be like, oops, we made a mistake.
They could postpone it altogether too. I
All I know
mean,
is that day of, I'm going to be watching Linksy.
yeah, Linksy, what are your thoughts? Because, yeah, I mean, I will say the behavior has been more responsive with the PTVs because in the past they've just been like, here's the PTV and we're still going to push it out live.
Yeah.
So lately, like I would say last year or so, they have been more responsive in listening to feedback. And if stuff seems broken or too strong, they will adjust it. So hopefully the feedback they get, they will take to heart and make whatever adjustments need to be made, because the twins do need a change. It's just, is this the right change is the question.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like, I feel like with every killer that comes out, like as a survivor main, I still want to have fun. That's why I'm playing the game. It shouldn't be miserable. Like when I go into a match, the moment I know who it is, I shouldn't be like, ah. You shouldn't
Yeah.
see people DCing across the
Yeah.
board.
Well, there needs to be
Mhm.
counterplay. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I think we're having issues seeing the counterplay since Victor doesn't latch onto you when he
Yeah.
injures you from healthy to injured. Because that's why, like, Wesker was so popular. Wesker, there's counterplay to Wesker. He is strong. He can be strong, but you can also outplay him too
Yeah.
as a survivor. And I think that's what has made Wesker one of the best killers probably in this game, even though he's not like the top of the list, but still people play him a lot. And I think survivors are fine going against him because you can counter him. It's when you can't counter. That's why like Nurse and Blight have such issues, I think, or survivors have issues with them because sometimes there's no counterplay. Like, what do? The nurse blinks through walls.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
how are you gonna counter that?
yeah, you have to try to break line of sight.
You got to become a wall. She goes through you.
I guess the question is there gonna be good counterplay with the twins, or is it gonna be really oppressive? Because of the being able to. It sounds oppressive. We'll see. We will have to see.
Look, the ultimate question is what's gonna break when this goes live?
We got you twins, but Wesker, you got to have them for a month.
Yeah.
We put out twins, but distortion is broken.
Yes.
Yeah, what are we gonna kill switch after this?
Something always gets kill switched.
If they kill switch distortion, I am so taking a break from this game.
I'm not playing. I'm gonna go back to hide in lockers. You better have Iron Maiden. That's where I'm gonna be. I don't care if I get pulled.
Oh my! I guess I'll need to go back and check out Texas Chainsaw because they have quite a few updates since I've last played. So they have a new map, new survivor. Like I guess
they have
drive everyone.
They have a lot of new DLCs.
I still gotta finish.
Or we'll be Stardew.
Oh yeah.
Stardew, Palia.
I'll be in Palia.
I still need to finish the final draft of Alan Wake 2. I have a list. There's so many games have updates right now. I'm like, I feel a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, for sure.
All the updates. I think that's it. Do we have anything else, guys? We covered a lot. Probably too much. Sorry, we like to talk.
Yeah.
Thank you for those who like our episodes went really long, but you're still like sticking around. Like we appreciate. We just like to chat, and this is the first time we've had to talk to each other in a little bit too. So a lot of times when we're filming, it's the first time we talk to each other like all week, unless we got some game in. Like we appreciate you listening to our rants, and thank you from the bottom of our heart.
For sure, yeah.
Just
I mean, if
listen
anything,
to us talk.
Make dinner, put us on, and we'll just be your companion.
Those really long drives. Like I have friends that he was like, I had to work on a house. He's a plumber. Shout out to Jay because he does listen.
Hey Jay.
He'll be like, he'll be like, oh, I have something to listen to the whole day while I'm working at a house for 8 hours. Just back-to-back episodes.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
We do. Yeah, we love
Shout
all
out
you guys.
to Jay.
Yeah.
We promise to not use any weird language in Latin in our episodes.
Oh, yeah. No. All of our
the next episode, I'm going to try to find where I can put in ad infinitum and augment.
Well, I feel like augment is in other games. I know what augment is.
I know, but it's so weird to like, I don't know. I don't know what my hang up is about the word. It's just like there are so many other words that are just easier. Increase. Change. Why do we have to go with augment? Yeah.
For ad infinitum. I'm like, who wrote this behavior? I have questions. We have questions.
Again, reach out to us.
Just read a very long epic fantasy novel.
Yeah. We do content creation like for a living and have to put out stuff to companies and edit, and that's what our degree's in, and that's it. Just
know your audience is your biggest issue right now.
Yes.
You had people that thought sanguine was pasta.
Hey, I mean, it spelled like linguine, kind of.
I know, but it was so in multiple streams because I
Like,
was
what?
had like 4 streams going up at the same time. I
People are
multitask.
hungry for pasta, apparently.
Yeah, and there
What's
were
the
multiple
sanguini?
discussions about is this a pasta?
I know you posted that, and I was like, what?
I know,
That's
it was so
hilarious.
funny, but I saw it more than once, so. But yeah.
So we need a pasta, like, charm or badge in the
Yeah,
game,
reach out to
apparently.
me.
They should
I'm
lean into that.
Italiano. I can talk to you about pastas. Those bloody pastas.
Oh, yeah, we were going to use bloody in this.
Yeah,
Oh,
see what I
yeah.
did there?
Yeah.
I didn't say sanguine pasta. All right, I think that's a bloody episode.
Yep. We did a bloody good job.
Bloody fantastic.
Oh, my.
Thank
We
you
all
for
did a
bloody
bloody
listening.
good. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
a bloody good job. Oh, my.
All right, I guess I can close this out.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We want to wish you a bloody good morning, bloody good afternoon, bloody evening, wherever you are, and bloody bye.
Bye.
Toodaloo.